Welcome to the Mischief. I'm Valen, and this is Rats, a wonderful little mod by Alex, won the 1666. And it adds in a bunch of these little furry critters here that do a lot more than just sit on your shoulder and look cute or dangerous. So as you can see here, there are a bunch of rats. Basically, these guys here do a lot of things. One, they're cute. You can tame them. You can have them, as you can see, on your shoulder, and they can carry things. They can wear different outfits and hats and stuff, but they can also be dangerous. They can steal your stuff. They can add a whole new dimension to your Minecraft world. These ones all have no AI in them currently. They're just kind of stable. But so you can see when in the darkness, if I show you the group that is currently on my shoulder out here, their little eyes are black and beady. But if I go into the darkness, their eyes start glowing, and you can see. Of course, if they are a plague rat, one of these green particle ones, their eyes are always going to be red. You should be able to see them in the darkness as well. So let's get into how you can, well, first find these guys in the world, as well as kind of deal with some of the issues they might cause. So you might have your wonderful little builds going on, you know, where you've got some pristine area to work with, or your normal areas where you might have some little helpers, you know, to cook things and whatnot. But it's a matter of trying to keep these guys under control and not getting into your stuff. So let's give an example. First, I'm going to set this group down. Okay, and they're currently on the ground. You can see that there's the group of them right there. They're not going to go anywhere because I have them currently set to stay where they're at. But if you run into rats in the world, they should spawn normally by default during the nighttime, or just in darkness, like normal mobs would be, and they are fully tameable, and you can even use them as an item transportation or gathering system. So, in order to first experience these and deal with them, though, because they will most likely be a nuisance early on in your early game. So currently, if we go into my little kitchen shop here, I've got, you know, a bunch of coal in here. I've got cheese. I've got blocks of cheese and so on. And over here, I've also got assorted vegetables. Now, if I were to bring in some rats, they would probably want to obtain these items. So I drop down this guy here. It's going to want to start taking crops. Oh, no, wait. They're going for the crops in the field first. You notice that the rat starts eating things, and then it'll go back once it's done and continue eating your crops. And yes, fences, do not stop them. Dirt blocks, do not stop them. Wood blocks, don't stop them either. In fact, let's bring them over here, see if they actually have any interest in this. No, that one's going to go for the farm. So they go for the crops first as a foremost attack here. Let's bring a bunch of them into place, and they're all just going to go through here and just destroy this farm. Now, in order to stop these guys, we're probably going to want to set down something like this. Traps and cheese. In order to get cheese, though, you're going to need something from your average cow over here, which, yes, hello, cow. You're going to want to get some buckets and, of course, get some milk just from the cow itself, just by clicking on there. Get a bunch of these, and you're going to want to put these in a cauldron. Meanwhile, notice that the entire farm is gone, and now they're going after the goods. They are burrowing into the house and making rat holes. You notice this is oak wood planks? Now it's a rat hole, and they can get into the goods. Oh no! So quick, how do I take care of this? Put some milk in a cauldron. Now this may take a few moments, but then you'll end up getting a block of cheese, which you can then convert in a crafting table to 4 pieces of cheese. Da-da-da-da! And you can see here, it just turns into regular cheese. So, with the regular cheese, you can then start baiting traps in hopes that they will come to these, and therefore stop going after your precious goods and ruining your house. Now, there's a chance that they might also eat these every time that they come and get them. So you're going to want to make sure that you place these in an appropriate location where they might find it effective. So yeah, that's one way of dealing with them, but you can also encourage them to be your friend. Let's just break this and fix this wall for now because I'm in creative. I can do that. So I'm going to leave these traps here for the moment, just in case. I'm going to break these ones. I don't want them killing off any potential friendlies we might have. So in order to kind of make these guys a little bit more tameable, you can, of course, give them cheese. Now, if I put down a regular rat, boop, and I go near it in regular survival mode, let me change my mode here, and I jump down in the hole, the rat wants to get away, right? It's just like an ocelot, but not really. Now, if I have some cheese, and I throw that on the ground, the rat will likely want to try and come to it, but as I'm a scary human, it's probably not going to want to come near me. Or it might even just burrow and try and escape, which is pretty darn cute if you ask me. So in this case, you can see that there's a couple of them that have gone in there at this point. You toss these in here, and eventually, once you've given them enough cheese, and they stop burrowing, because you can see that they will just dig into the dirt, they will end up becoming tamed, just like, you know, your regular animal or whatnot. You'll get some little heart particles popping up on them. It'll take about 15 to 20 pieces of cheese, which, considering how often you can get milk and make it in a cauldron, it's not that bad. And cheese, by the way, gets you 2.5 hunger, so it's not that bad to work with here. There we go. I just got one of them convinced that they're going to be my friend. Once you have obtained the love of one of the rats, you can right-click on it. You can see if it's male or female. You can give it commands straight away, and you can see its current status, which will change usually between idle or moving or something like that, depending upon what you have. Now, following is currently what I have them set to do. That is the default value for these ones. Can I click on you as well? Yep, so there we go. You can also name tag these, and if you're a patron of the mod author, then you should be able to potentially change them to a different skin, which is pretty darn cool. Feel free to check out the mod devs Patreon page for that kind of detail. Enough with that, let's get on to a little bit more interesting of things. Now, you notice that when the rats died, they did drop a few things like a rat pelt, which you can use to therefore make some leather. It also may have dropped raw rat, which, yes, you can eat it and it's just as good as cheese in its health, or you can actually cook it in a furnace and make cooked rat, which is 2.5 hunger. Let's talk about the different commands you might be able to do, at least to start with. Now, they're not going to be able to get out of this because it's a too deep high area. They might be able to dig through some of the dirt, but they're not going to be able to dig their own stairs or anything. So with that in mind, you might want to set it so they can potentially get out. Their AI is not perfect, so you're probably going to want to work with them. They also work better with half slabs, getting up and down blocks, much better than if they were to go up regular ones. So if I run over here, you can see they'll just chase over with me. Now, if you want, I'm going to go into a third-person perspective here. Right-click on one of the rats that you have, and sneak right-click, and beep, it jumps on your head. You can sneak right-click on another one, jumps on your shoulder, and the third one would jump on your other shoulder as well. So you can therefore have up to 3 rats on you at any given time, and you can actually see their little noses up there. They're pretty darn cute. If you want to get them off, you just shift left punch in the air, basically left click, left punch, and you'll drop them instantly where they're at. Alternately, you can put them in a cage, but I'll go over that momentarily. So let's talk about commands. Now that you know how to make cheese, you can actually use a cheese staff, which is just cheese on a stick, right? Which this is actually how to tell them to do things. So let's start with telling these rats to do something besides just follow me. Come here a second. You're getting a little too far away. So hunt prey. That's a little bit much. It's going to try and kill things. And if it has anything in its mouth, it will not do most of these commands. So you want to be aware of that. Now, it's a very weak rat, but you can see it is effective. It now has a pork chop in its mouth, where'd it go? Is it here? It just ran away. Oh, there it is. Come back. Come back. So it's going to start looking for other stuff at this point. But hopefully, I'll be able to catch him. Come back here. All right, there we go. Follow me. Hunt prey. Gather items. Transport items. Wander. Stay here. That's the one that you want by default. Then they just sit up, and you can sneak right-click and take them with you. Move them where you want to be. Let's turn it back to daytime right now. We don't need the extra incursion of other enemies in the area. And I'm going to sneak punch in the air. There we go. So, with this one in place, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to... Oh, sorry about that. Make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. And you can see that the rat is actually slightly injured, 3.5 hearts. Just give a little bit of cheese, and it should heal itself up. If not, then you can always just give it a little bit more, and then that works too. So, yeah, that worked. It ate its own cheese. If you give it a whole bunch of them, it will just devour all those in no time. So you got to be careful. Just give it enough food that it'll be happy. So let's get out of here. There we go. And if I right click on the rat, you can actually change it to say, instead of follow me, hunt prey, gather items, which actually gather items is what I wanted to show you. So before I do this though, I'm going to use the cheese staff. So first I need to choose a rat. By right clicking with the cheese staff, it says staff is now bound to the rat. So if I click on here, it then says rat is now set to deposit items in the inventory of this chest. So if I set this rat free, it will then gather items, which means it's going to run around breaking grass and flowers in the area and start putting them in here. So if you need a clear field, this is a really cool way of doing it. Now you notice though that it just dropped this dirt on the ground. It didn't actually pick them up. It's more aiming for the grass, and it's just going to keep going forever and ever. So you got to really keep an eye on this. Come back here. Come back, rat. Come here. All right, so let's change this to come here. Come here. Okay, this is why you sometimes need to sneak right click and just put them on the ground and then punch in the air so you can have a moment to tell them to do more stuff. Transporting items, wandering, staying here, etc. So let's actually go to transporting items. So this should make things a little bit easier. In this case, you're going to stay there actually. Don't go anywhere. So let's go in here and we can use a different rat for the transportating of items. I've got my cheese staff. Staff is now bound to this rat, and I can say, all right, I need you to I want you to deposit items in the inventory into there. Now the other thing is sneak right click, no longer take items from the inventory, is now set to take items from the inventory. So it'll take items from this chest and put them in this furnace. I need to cook some stuff. So now we just need to change it to gather transport items. And then it's going to run back and forth over here, but it's not going to because sometimes there's something in the way. Now this is not always the case. You might need to move a little something. In this case, there we go. And it still wants to jump up on top before it actually puts it in on the east face for some reason. Just a little glitch here and there. These are likely to be remedied in future versions. But this one here is an easy way of doing it. So if you wanted the rat to go a little bit faster, you could easily put like a rat upgrade with speed in there, and that'll make him go super fast. Then you got this really fast rat. I can't even click on him anymore. But be aware that that makes him very difficult to actually track. Now I could also give him this, a rat upgrade of a platter. This makes them really, really cute. Yes, sometimes his head gets a little bit derpy. But then he runs around and does entire stacks at a time of the product. So if I take this out, he'll try and put in what he had available, which was 59 on him. I'm taking that away, taking this away, puts that in place, and then he's going to want to try putting more into this furnace, which of course he's only grabbing like 61 at a time because he had a little bit left over in the inventory. But you get the idea. It allows him to travel with a lot more product instead of just one at a time. He'll take most of, if not an entire stack. Thank you. And that's just some of the upgrades. There are plenty more. There are also combat upgrades. You can increase with giving it armor. If you notice, giving it something like an iron helmet, it already has some armor on the rat itself. Just by looking in the top left, it has a little bit. So if I take that off, it's going to lose some of any of the armor that it has. So therefore, it gets rat armor, which is going to be better than your armor because it's basically an NPC. So then you can upgrade this even further with other versions. Now there is a little bit more to this mod than what you might be thinking here, and that involves this little guy here with the chef's hat. It's really darn cute. So this one here doesn't have any upgrades in it, but we can give it the chef upgrade, which basically turns this into a furnace. This rat can now cook things for you. So to give an example, let's grab some wood just to show you that you can, therefore, we'll just put it in its inventory. It will cook and pop out a bit of charcoal. Boop, there we go. Now, there is a bit of a dupe bug in the beginning version, but that goes away, I'm sure, within the next version. But for now, you know that you can currently cook things with it. Now, if you give it any cookable item, like, let's say, some raw chicken. There we go. And yes, I said chicken. So it should cook it up just like a regular furnace, a little bit quicker. Doesn't require anything for it to actually cook that. Now, there are other things you can have these rats make. Legendary foods. And of course, there's a new item added in here, assorted vegetables, which is made like such. It's basically a block of different veggies. If you give it some assorted vegetables, you can get a legendary dish that is absolutely divine. In fact, it's so divine, it may modify your vision. In fact, you can keep that one. You look pretty darn cute with that. So it is Confit Bialdi, which is a play on, of course, Ratatouille, the movie, as well as the food itself. So I have the food, right? Now, let's eat a little bit of this. And notice I'm already full, but I can still eat this. Oh my goodness, everything suddenly zooms in and out. I get this crazy yellowish effect, and I have synesthesia for a minute and a half. It's pretty darn amazing, because if you notice, I also have an extra 10 hearts to work with on here. I get the little like fart bubbles flying around my character. And on top of that, I don't know if you guys noticed, check out the hunger amount that this thing replenishes. Boom! So much. It goes off the screen. It's really ridiculous. But I don't even know if that's intended or not, but you know you can't fill up your hunger meter any more than it already is. But I figure, you know what? That's an excellent Easter egg one way or another. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that. And yes, you can just keep on giving them more and more amounts of the assorted vegetables. Let's see if I can give them a stack's worth. Give me that BLD. We're going to toss that in there, and they'll just start popping them out. Now, here's the thing. You notice I don't have any rats on me right now, right? No rats. So if I sneak right-click, boop, and I go outside, and I'm standing here, the rat is going to cook while I'm here, throwing me food while I'm walking around, which is pretty darn amazing. It's probably going to be littering the landscape with all sorts of foods while it cooks, but I find that very entertaining and really, really cool. Now, of course, the chef's hat here, you can wear it yourself. And of course, it will obscure vision that you are wearing a rat. Even the tail itself disappears. So let's take the hat back off. Oh, and my synesthesia just wore off. You can see that the rat is back, tail hanging down and everything. So that's just a little bit of an interesting thing there. Of course, once again, playing on the movie Ratatouille. But it's pretty darn good. So what else can we do here? You've seen them hunt. You've seen them basically gather things, kill things, fight for you, defend you, transport items, steal your stuff, break into your house, destroy your crops. Keep in mind, though, that let's actually grab the rest of these ones. We're going to take this chef rat down here, and we're going to grab these ones onto my person at the moment. And I'm going to put down a little bit of dirt, block these ones here, and we're actually going to show you something bad that's going to happen. And that is going to be this. Ocelots and cats don't like rats. In fact, they will just straight up fight them and start attacking them and killing them. So that's a thing. Of course, if you have a warrior rat or a rat that you have beefed up with different like upgrades, the warrior upgrade, or even the battle god upgrade, which gives it a tremendous boost at a very tremendous cost, then you will start seeing that the cat will no longer be effective. Now, keep in mind, though, if you have a cat or an ocelot and you're wearing rats like I am right now, it will try to kill your rats that are currently on you. So if I stand down here, it's going to start trying to attack the rats that are on me, which is kind of rude, and you got to watch out for that. So if you have cats and you want rats, best not to mix them up. So now there is one other thing, and that is how to breed them. You can make more, and this is like an infinite thing. This may change in the future, but currently, let's see. This one here is female. What do I have in here right now? Just by right-clicking with a rat on your shoulder. So I currently have one. Whoops, I thought I had one. Oh, no, it's not on my shoulder. It's under my hat. If you have one on you and you just right-click, any rats that you currently have on you will go into the cage. Then by right-clicking again, the rat will be pulled out of the cage or released. Then this one here is female. So let's do this. Put the female in there. And you probably only want to do this one at a time because weird things happen. This one here is male, but I'm going to use the chef. Yes, we're going to take this one. I gave it a frying pan just because that is really cute. We're going to take you, and then we're going to right-click, and then pow, they instantly mate. If provided that they are full on health or have been fed or something like that, they make those. And then if I sneak right-click or just right click, they will come out. I can put them on my shoulders again or on my head. And you've got these little tiny babies in here. And of course, the cage itself is made simply as such, and it can make multi-block structures. If you notice, this is currently 4 cages, well, actually 8 cages that have all been stacked together. Let me get a pick. There we go. And I can start mining these up, and you'll notice that I can pick these up, and it's adjustable. You can even, if you go into like game mode 3 or something like that, go inside of the cages. It's a bit weird. You can't place anything in there because each one is its own block, but they still have connected textures, so that works. Now, if you right-click on this while the rat's in there, it will give you messages about releasing them and stuff. Plus, if any of the breedings happen, you have a chance of getting between 1 and 5 babies, which in this case, I'm just going to break this. And they should typically spread out. There you go. I just kind of pushed them a little bit. So in this case, I got 4. It takes a while for it to happen, but eventually they will grow into adults. And then they will probably have different markings all over the place. So you can get all sorts of different varieties: hooded rats, striped rats, spotted rats, solid colored rats, and so on. And if you keep them in the cage, though, and they're happy and healthy, they might also immediately breed again. So you could have massive quantities of rats very quickly. So you just need basically 1 male, 1 female, and you can breed your own rat army and stick them upon your inventory or whatever. So yeah, just remember, if you get too many, you always have your choice of traps. But these guys are really cute. They will start bopping up and down and jumping and stuff like that in time as well when they're getting closer to becoming an adult, which I find really, really cute. Now, something I have not mentioned yet is plague rats and how they can actually be very dangerous. Now, if you want to, if I spawn enough of these randomly by using these spawn rat eggs, they will randomly generate a plague rat, which upon contact of any regular rat, it will instantly turn them into plague rats as well. Now, if you have tamed them, like these little guys over here, then they are immune to the disease. But then it also means that they're going to, if they're plague rats, then they're going to also want to attack you and poison you. So let me just spawn a whole bunch of these down here, and eventually I'm likely to get, there we go, a plague rat, which instantly converted them all. Oh my gosh, that is just like nightmare fuel right there. Jeez, oh Pete's, yeah, you gotta be careful. You get poisoned for a few seconds, and they're horrific, and yeah, they're absolutely terrifying. So you're going to want to be very cautious about your non-tamed rats getting close to these fiends. They will attack you, and they will destroy you. So yeah, that's pretty much it about the rats mod at this point. This is like the first release of it. It's looking really amazing. Adds in a lot of cool and fun things. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to give a like, comment, subscribe, and as always, check us out on Twitch, and we'll all see you next time. Rats, rats, we're the rats. I'm the giant rat that makes all the rules.